Welcome to Ina After Dark. This is a space that I created to just come very informally and wrap up for the day. Sometimes I teach you something, sometimes I motivate you, sometimes I inspire you, but in the end, it's just my way of just coming here and just kind of like relaxing. You guys know that I just kind of press go live on my videos, and I just prepare for 30 seconds before coming on. So I'm just going to come and talk to you guys about something that happened very recently, something that happened this week. And to tell you the truth, guys, hi Farah, nice to see you. To tell you the truth, guys, you guys know I've talked about this before, that I go to therapy every 2 weeks, and it's not the kind of therapy that you would think. It's not like, okay, you have something that you're working on and you have goals and you're trying to figure out that stuff so that eventually you can stop going to therapy. It's not like that. For me, talk therapy is more like I go to a room every 2 weeks with a therapist there. I go to that room every 2 weeks, and I say out loud all of the things that I can't tell anyone else. And it's my way of kind of putting, like, dumping everything that is in my brain. It's like garbage collection, right? It's like putting out the garbage. Because if I go 3 weeks without going to therapy, my mood starts going down. My depression comes back. Hi, Kylie. Nice to see you. Kylie's in Australia, guys. I love my Australian people. All right. So that's the kind of therapy that I go and do. It's very healthy for me. It just helps me keep my depression at bay without medication, and I can still eat whatever I want and not exercise, which I don't recommend. Eat right, exercise. If you're suffering from depression, those are the things you should be doing. And I do find that if I work out and I eat right, my depression stays at bay anyway. But this talk therapy kind of helps me. So I've been going to therapy for 20 years, like legit 20 years. Even more than that, actually. Excuse me. Sometimes I yawn on In After Dark because it is legit dark. It's 10:20. I've been going to therapy for 20 years. And every time that I go, it is my goal to actually work on something. My husband and I have this running joke that if I don't cry at a therapy session, then I should get my money back. Because when I cry, I know that they have pushed a special button, that we've touched on something important, right? Which is important to me. I want to make sure that I'm at least improving myself, right? More than garbage collection, that I'm being introspective, that I'm being self-aware, and that I'm working on issues that I have. And I'm going to tell you something. Amy, I love the yawns. I know how you feel. I can't help them. And now that I know they're coming, they happen more often. So it's one of those things. So thank you, Amy, for the support. So anyway, there is one story that I'm not going to share with you guys right now. I'm going to tell you a little bit of it, but I'm not going to share the story with you because it's something that I discovered just this week. That is a story that happened to me when I was 10. And I have been trying to sweep it under the rug for a very long time, to the point that I've been going to this particular therapist for 2 years, and she had never heard the story before. And I am self-aware, and I want to talk about myself, and I want to talk about things. And I had never shared this story with her. And I'm not sure that I shared it with any other therapist before, because I kept wanting to sweep it under the rug. I kept trying to figure out why I have problems doing this, why I have problems doing that. And I always would find a reason. I would always find another story or another excuse or another way to explain away what was happening. And this came up because now you guys know, because I've talked a little bit about it here, that my goal for the next 90 days is to kind of slow down on launches and rev up publicity. I have signed up for publicity programs. I have signed up to work with a publicity coach. I have worked with my mentor Gladys and told her, I want your help in focusing on publicity over the next 90 days. So it looks like I'm doing all the right things, right? It looks like I am ready to tackle publicity. And by the way, publicity, what that means is guest posting on somebody else's blog, being a guest at other people's podcasts, writing articles for Medium and Thrive Global, basically like putting myself out there in the wild, right? And I always talk to Gladys about how I feel like I have a block with publicity. It looks like I'm doing all the right things. And I want you guys to start to relate this to something that you're doing, something that you're hiding from, that it looks like from the outside that you are doing all the right things, but you know that all you're doing is stalling, right? So I started to feel like I was stalling, like, you know, signing up to work with this coach and prioritizing this for the next 90 days and signing up for this publicity program. All these things sound like I'm doing the right thing. But guess what? I haven't done yet. I have not sought out public speaking opportunities. I have not finished writing an article. I have not asked people to be a guest on their podcast. I'm still actively not actively looking for publicity opportunities. Why? Right? Why am I hiding behind all of these other tasks, right? So I want you to start thinking of something happening in your life, and if you can think of something, I want you to leave it in the comments. Is there something that you feel like you're doing, but you're not really doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? In some cases, that's like you want to start a business. So you think, oh, but I can't put myself out there until I have a website or until I have this. My mentor Gladys, she was talking about this in one of her lives yesterday. You haven't finished your website, you have not come up with a logo, you don't have branding colors, you have not had your photo shoot yet, right? So you don't want to start to get yourself out there because you're not ready. Because if people come and try, like if you put yourself out there and people try to find you, they're not going to find a website and your life will be over. The business will be over before it even begins, right? So these are stalling tactics, right? Like saying to yourself, I want to be a coach, but I can't be a coach until I'm certified, right? So this is something that I actually talked to one of my clients recently, in that she signed up to go to a coaching program to really learn, to really be certified to be a coach, but the program is not happening until next year. And I painted this picture for her. I told her, suppose that you choose to spend the rest of your year focusing on something else, to decide that you can't be a coach without being certified, so technically you can't serve that way this year. So go and focus on your hobby, go get another job, go do something else until that program happens. And you walk through the doors of that program and you find two kinds of people. One kind of people, they have already started a business. They've had clients. They've spent all year doing Facebook Lives, creating a community. They have 1,000 people following them, right? Those are the people who are there to become coaches. And then there's the other group of people who felt like you, who felt like, I can't be a coach until I'm certified. And they have not created an audience. They have not had clients. Which group do you want to be associated with? Which group do you want to be a member of? The answer was, I'd love to be associated with the group that already started, right? The other group, what they were doing was stalling. It looks like they were doing all the right things, right? They had the perfect but in their head. I want to be a coach, but I'm not certified, so I'm going to sign up for the certification. And then I'm going to do reading. I'm going to read about coaching for the next year until I got, these are stalling tactics. If you want to be a coach, go out there and get yourself clients, right? But you don't want to do that because there's something stopping you. There's something inside that is making you say, I am not ready for this. And this is what was happening to me. I told Gladys yesterday, Gladys being my mentor, I'll start just calling her Gladys from now on. Amy says, yes, it's so hard to put yourself out there. It's so easy to stay in development mode or strategizing. I love strategizing. You guys should have seen me yesterday having a ball with my easel and like writing down. And I created a chart that's like, this is the urgent axis and this is the important axis. And I'm going to put all the tasks that I need to do on this. I love strategizing, right? Like you guys gonna need to strategize, but not at the expense of actually getting stuff done. So Amy says, But actually getting out there and doing something makes you vulnerable. We're going to get there. You just said a mouthful, sister. It's hard to face the no's and the failures. I'm listening. Oh, Amy, you don't know the half of it. Here you go. Here it goes. So, yeah, so I'm talking to Gladys yesterday. And I tell her, like, outright, this was our strategy meeting, right? Okay, Ina, what do you want to focus on for the next 90 days? How do you need my support? And I told her, I want to do publicity for the next 90 days, but there's something stopping me. And you're the only person in my life who can help me get over this block. Please help me get over this block. And here she's thinking like, well, you already signed up for the program. You already signed up to work with a publicity coach. You are writing an article. You are... you're doing all the right things. What do you need me for? I'm like, Gladys, I feel like I'm stalling. I need you to help me. I don't know what it is. And then she said, magic words. This is the magic of Gladys, right? Magic words. She's like, Ina, if I have to be honest, it feels like that something happened in your life that is keeping you playing small, that is keeping you not being visible. And to tell you the truth, guys, like, it's so counterintuitive to me to hear somebody tell me that I'm not visible when I'm here doing Facebook Lives twice a day, right? What is it? Why am I able to come here and be myself with you guys, but I am frightened to the point of paralysis of doing publicity? What is it? And then after she said this, right, she's like, something happened in your life. I told her, I actually started like to tear up a little bit. And I told her, actually, Gladys, there's a story I have not shared in a long time. Can I share it with you right now? Do you want to hear it? Like, I actually thought this story was so insignificant that I had not shared it with therapists. I talked to my husband after I talked to Gladys, and he doesn't remember hearing this story either, although I'm sure I told him at some point. But this is a story that actually I keep coming back to, something that I think frequently enough that is still on my mind. Like I said, if I start telling you the story, I am going to cry and break down, and that's not going to be a pretty picture because it doesn't help anyone. I am going to work on it. I need to do some internal work to really get over this, right? To really figure out how to best use this. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit so you guys are not in the dark, but it's something that happened when I was 10 years old, where there was a situation in which I broke down. I became hysterical. I snapped, like a psychological snap, because of bullying that was happening at that particular point in time that was targeted at me. And I'm not going to tell you the details. I will someday, I promise. It is my goal to work on this to the point that I'm not bawling and like crying and breaking down in front of you guys, because that really doesn't help anyone other than watching the entertainment of watching me cry, right? But that story, I told it to Gladys, and I'm here, I'm telling you guys, like streaming tears, like cries of desperation, of despair, of, where were the grown-ups when this was happening? Like, what, I don't even know. I would tell her, I don't even know why I'm telling you this story. I have no idea how to relate this to anything. And so that's as much as I'm going to tell you about the story. Bullying and me snapping. I talked to her about it, and she told me very clearly, Ina, that is trauma. And nobody had ever told me that story was traumatic. Nobody had ever painted that picture for me. So I didn't know this could be trauma that could be holding me back. And she said, Ina, it makes perfect sense to me that the reason that story is important to you is because you don't want to put yourself out there and be humiliated the way that you were in this story. You're afraid of humiliation. So you've done a great job at creating a bubble in your business where you're only speaking to people who actually want to hear from you. And guess what? If anybody in this group ever said anything detrimental to what I talk about, anything mean, none of you guys have ever done anything like that. But I know that I have the control that if somebody comes to my group and they say something mean to others, to me, they're negative, right? They give me a bad vibe. I have full control over removing them from the group, right? I've created a business around being super visible to only a small group of people and getting out there in the Wild West, where I have no control over who consumes that information, over who comments on whatever I put out there. That is frightening to me. And it's all attached to this stupid story that I have been sweeping under the rug for how long? How old am I? I'm 38. I was 10, right? 28 years. So I wanted to come out and tell you this story because something that I talk about a lot with my clients is their mindset. And there are times that we are like legitimately not ready to put ourselves out there because there's something stopping us. And I'm gonna read a couple more comments here. Kylie says, I am brilliant at making a plan. Kylie, making plans are so fun. I come from a project management background where making plans was like my oyster. Spreadsheets are my best friends. Amy says, we're all guilty of this. Imposter syndrome can rear its ugly head when we start moving and doing something new, but we have to push through. Especially couple pushing through with reviewing where your feelings come from, and you are unstoppable. Self-awareness is huge, guys. Kylie says, cause you're in a private group. Thank you, Kylie. Kylie, I bet you wrote that even before I got to that conclusion. I am in a private group. I have a completely controlled space where I'm not afraid of humiliation. And Marco says, hi, everyone. Just stop by to say hi. Marco is my community manager. You guys say hello. This is such a meaningful topic. So what did I want to tell you guys? I always try to tie every story back to business, to some way that I can help you guys, because there is no point in me just experiencing and going through these things without actually helping you, because that's what I'm here for. This is what I do. This is what my business is centered around, is helping people like you move forward in your lives so that you can replace your salary while you're still working and have that life of freedom that you want. So you can spend your days doing exactly what it is that you want to do. Everything I do is around helping you do that. So right before this, right before I pressed go live, I thought, what can I do? How can I help others with this? And something came to mind. I work with a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't do life coaching and mindset coaching, but guess what I do for the whole first month that I work with people, depending on the stage that they are in their self-awareness. I end up spending a good month talking to people through mindset blocks, identifying what those blocks are, giving them advice and tools that they need, that they could start using right now to start embodying their CEO self, right? Because what ends up happening is I could write down right now all of the business strategy that I know and all the rules for replacing your salary that I know, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. But if you have not figured out your mindset blocks yet, you're never going to make it past point number 1. And this is something that I have seen in others, is something that I've experienced in others. So before I got on this call, I'm like, how can I help people? So I decided, okay, you know what I can do, right? Because a lot of you guys are not ready for like a 3-month coaching experience where we're going to get your business off the ground, right? Some of you are, in which case I want to hear from you. But like right now, I'm working with a client where we are halfway through our engagement and we're working on her website, and I'm a WordPress expert, so we don't need anybody else. We just get on, we install the theme, and we do things together. I gave her the template so she can fill out her copy. We're actually she's going to end up with a business, right? And it's my goal to get her to walk away with clients, right? I'm training her on sales calls. I'm training her on how to find people, how to put herself out there. And today, halfway through our engagement, we're already talking website. We're already creating her freebie. We're already creating her nurture sequence. So this is what happens in my 3-month programs, right? And depending on the self-awareness level of each person, I end up spending like a good 4 sessions just on mindset. So what I decided to do was this. If you're not ready to tackle like starting to replace your salary now and working on all these things because you still have all of these hang-ups, right? That you don't know where they are, you just know that they're preventing you from advancing. This is what I'm gonna do for you. I decided to take those first 4 weeks and break them out. I'm calling it the 1 month CEO Mindset Bootcamp. Okay, so this is for people, this is not for everybody, guys. This is for people who they know they want to do something else, but they know there's stuff that is stopping them right now. And they're like, you know what? I need help with this because if I don't figure this ish out, if I don't figure this stuff out, I am never actually going to replace my salary. And I work with my clients and I tell them like, you know, I had one client last night where she was like, you know, having a little bit of a panic attack because she's like, I didn't finish the homework. So I give my people assignment. I don't do talk therapy in my sessions. Like this is very action driven. I want people to end up like finish our 3 months together with a business and with clients, right? So I give them very like beefy assignments. And she calls me yesterday and she's like, I didn't finish the assignment. I feel like I'm failing. And I'm like, dude, the fact that you're running into a block right now, that is the assignment. That is the gold. Is you going through this process and realizing what are the things that are blocking you, that are stopping you, because guess what? These things are going to pop right back up when you start having sales calls, when you start getting customers, when you start growing in your business. So you take care of those now so that you can be in a little bit of a better place for the rest of the year going after the strategy to replace your salary, right? So I decided to break that up for you. If you would like to hear more about that, just to see like, is this what you need? Are these the steps? Is this like the pre-work that you need to go through? I want to help you with that, right? This is something we all go through. I was talking to another client this morning where she was like, Ina, does everybody really go through this? Like the imposter syndrome, the feeling like lack of confidence, they having guilt at, you know, telling other people to do something when like you are managing your time differently, and like guilt, just guilt of doing something, guilt of being here talking to you guys instead of putting my kids down to bed, like guilt. Like, does everybody really deal with that? I'm like, yes, pretty much every single one of my clients. So that's what I'm going to put out there. I'm only going to put this out there through Sunday. Okay, so you have until Sunday, and this is just to catch people who are watching this on the replay, giving you a couple of days to watch this. If you want to set up a call just to see if this would be a good path for you, go to inacoveney.com/call. Spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. And let's talk about what you feel like you need, what you feel like your hangups are, and let's see what we can do about that. One thing that I love to say, because it's something that I used to feel when I used to get this kind of invitations for like, let's get on a call. My first instinct was, I don't want to waste their time, and I'm not planning on buying anything, right? When really talking to you and trying to figure out like where you are, it helps me. If nothing else, it's market research for me. But more than that, I love getting to know you guys. I love coming here and knowing Kylie, Marco, Amy, Farah, Claire. I love that I know you guys and that I know where you are in your businesses and that we've talked before. I love knowing that. So especially if we've never talked before, like I'm talking to you, I would love to get to know you better. Like it gives me a kick. And that way, next time that I see you on a Facebook Live, I'm like, hey, there's Tiffany, right? There's Mark, there's Paul. I love that. So let's set up a call just to see if this is right for you. Okay, I am going to read a couple more comments here. Kylie said, that's a huge breakthrough, Ina. Thank you, Kylie, for your support. It was, I'm telling you, 20 years and not wanting to tell the story. If I told you guys the story, I promise I will someday. And I will like put a big banner. I am ready to tell you that story that happened to me when I was 10. I'm ready for it. I just don't want to break down in the middle of the Facebook Live because that will not help anyone. And Amy says, hi, everyone. This is such a powerful discussion. Thanks, Ina. I needed to hear this. Thank you, Amy. Farah, this is helpful for me. Great topic. I've never heard it explained this way, but it makes sense. Thank you, Farah. Amy, yes, those mind blocks pop up when you least expect it. They pop up all the time. So I think it's time for me to wrap up. I actually just came back from a publicity, like a public speaking workshop. I have no problem public speaking. I'm a very animated speaker. I can do this on stage too. The stuff that I do on video, I can also do on stage. But I got to actually get to know people in my local community who are doing this same thing. And it was so nice actually interact with people face to face, because my community is global. My community is you guys. So I'm like, oh my God, there's people out here. And I met this girl from the town next to mine, really close to where my son's daycare is. So we're going to get together. It's super exciting. Meeting people, creating networks. All right, guys, I think I am going to go and maybe have some crackers for dinner or something. But take me up on this if you would like, inacovani.com/call, and let's figure out your hangups together. All right, guys, thank you all so much for commenting and for having this conversation with me. This was super cool. This is not an easy topic to talk about, but we all have them, guys. We all have those hangups. So we need to put them on the table and figure out how to resolve them, because they're going to keep popping up. Okay? All right, guys, I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys. Yay, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click subscribe right here. And if you're a podcast listener, go and search for Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life, and you'll get me through your ears. All right, guys, have a great one. And don't forget, right here, subscribe.